What's going on, guys? It's Sacred Eagle. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I've been thinking for a while. Nothing to do with the draft, nothing along those lines. I'm not really going to talk about the draft until the draft itself, because I've already said what I have to say about it. But I'm going to talk about why the Eagles actually have a really good chance at making the playoffs and why they actually probably will. Because we here in the Philly fan base, we were upset at a 7-9 season last year. We were upset that we didn't win the games that we should have won, but in the end we accepted it because we had a rookie head coach, we had a rookie quarterback, not to mention a new system, and not a really good passing attack, especially at wide receiver. We had nothing to really help Carson Wentz out throwing the ball. But listen, I've said it before, and a lot of people agree. The Eagles went 7-9 last year with a quarterback who was a rookie quarterback, who played one preseason game and fractured some ribs, and found out that he was going to be the starter 8 days prior to Week 1 after Sam Bradford got traded. And they managed to win the first 3 games, and then, go on a losing streak, but have some scattered wins and losses. Lost a lost an overtime game against the Dallas Cowboys when they were up 23-13. They ended up blowing that and losing 29-23. That happens when decision making wasn't good on the coach's decision. He didn't make good play calls. In the end, chose to punt instead of a field goal, putting the defense right back on the field. They couldn't stop Zeke Elliott. They couldn't stop Dak Prescott, especially when they were starting to get hot. And in the end, instead of winning 26-13, we lost in overtime. We played another game against the Baltimore Ravens, where another decision, instead of going to overtime, 27-27, after Carson Wentz led your team for a game-tying touchdown, you went for 2, thinking that you actually had a chance to do that. Your wide receiver wasn't able to get great separation. Wentz threw the ball right on the dot. Couldn't catch the ball. You lose the game by 1 point. That's decision making. Even though with no wide receivers, barely an offensive line, and a defense that started crumbling as the season went on because we had no offensive support, we still managed to win 7 games and lose very close games. Another one being in Seattle. We had a chance to win that game, but silly mistakes by one Nelson Aguilar. It was an illegal formation call that called back a 70-plus yard catch and run by Zach Ertz that would have given us the lead rather than make us punt the football, and then Seattle took over and took the game right out of our hands. We ended up losing that game. The Detroit Lions, 2 turnovers, one by our amazing running back, injury-prone running back, Ryan Matthews, fumbling the football, forced us to, try to stop him on defense when they were already at the 50. They got a good 15 yards, scored the game-winning field goal, and we lost. Decision-making. Mistakes by a team that has the potential to be good, even though they don't look good. This team, we don't think is that good, but in reality, in the NFL that we have right now, with the teams that we have going up against the Eagles themselves, the Eagles are a pretty good team. No wide receivers, an injury-prone running back, a star lineman or a star offensive guard rather, that is suspended for 10 games. What do you think is going to happen to your defense? What do you think is going to happen? Yet we still won 7 games out of 9. Close games against the Redskins, the Giants, and the overtime game against the Cowboys. A few games against Detroit, against Seattle, against Baltimore. Getting blown out in Cincinnati because we had no hope in that game. We just didn't try at all. Now you look at what we've done to this team, especially on offense. I'm going to focus on offense. Alshon Jeffrey, he fits our system perfectly. This West Coast kind of offense that we run, he's perfect. He might not have that kind of speed to run right up the field and make an amazing play, but once he gets the ball in his hands, he can accelerate, break tackles, and he's gone. Off to the races. Torrey Smith, he's a veteran. He's the oldest wide receiver we have, sure, but he's speedy. He can make plays happen, and I think this year is going to be a good year for him. Having him there as a vertical threat is scary, especially with Alshon Jeffrey to the left of him, and then Jordan Matthews, and you have a bunch of young guys like Nelson Aguilar, Dorial Green-Beckham, Paul Turner. You have a bunch of young guys there just waiting to get a chance to get on that field and make something happen. When you have two guys like Torrey Smith on one side, you have Torrey Smith on one side, and you have Alshon Jeffrey on the other. Imagine putting in Jordan Matthews back in the slot where he had breakout seasons, and then you have people like Dorial Green-Beckham, who's a really freakishly tall dude with the speed that he possesses, Nelson Aguilar, who has to rebound after the sloppy first 2 seasons, and young guys like Paul Turner and Bryce Treggs who are waiting to get onto the field. The wide receivers, everything there, along with our 3 tight ends, Brett Selleck, who took a pay cut today. That's the true player right there, because we're right at the cap. He took a pay cut. He's still here. He's our veteran guy. He's our old, reliable tight end. Zach Ertz, who's waiting for a breakout season, had some pretty good seasons the past 3 years, yes, but he hasn't had the breakout season that we've expected him to have. He's probably waiting to have that one. That could be this year. Probably not. We don't know. And you have Trey Burton, who I think is going to be a great tight end in this system. He's young. He's quick. For a tight end, he's really quick. He can break tackles. He's everything we want at a vertical a tight end position. It's going to be good. This team has the potential to make the playoffs. We could have been 10-6. We could have been 11-5. We could have been 12-4, competing with the Giants and Cowboys last year. Silly mistakes, no playmakers, no offensive line. We couldn't do it. But this year, it looks like something different is going to happen. If we can get that running back position completely solidified with whoever we draft, McKay, Free, Cook, anybody, if we get anybody at the running back position this year in the draft, we're going to do good. The defense just need a corner. You just need a corner. You got to get some corners, a linebacker, maybe a defensive end to take over for Chris Long, because his age is catching up to him, sure. But this team, 2017, you can expect them to be in the playoffs. I know a lot of you Eagles fans are going to disagree with me, but the schedule comes out tomorrow. I'm going to do a breakdown of the entire schedule tomorrow. I'm going to give my day 1 opinion on it. Then I'm going to do another one later on in August, most likely, once we're getting into the preseason. And then we'll get right down to the actual season of football, guys. It's coming. It's coming. I know it's April. We're more than halfway through April. The draft is in 9-10 days. It's going to be great, guys. The Eagles, the future for the Eagles is looking up. You can't deny that. If you say that the Eagles are not going to have a good future, I don't know what to tell you. Because I see us making the playoffs next year, or at least competing with a really good record, 9-7, 10-6, whatever it may be. You can expect the Eagles to be a competitor in the playoffs this year. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with my regular season schedule breakdown. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, guys. Fly, Eagles, fly, go Phillies. Peace out.